the statutes seem to say, and to the extent this 18 U.S. Code 1507 says you can't picket a court with the intent of instructing or interfering with justice. I don't know. That's not going to be constitutional. You're allowed to go in front of that's an unconstitutional prescription on the right to
picket a court
to protest.
So you say to these protesters,
but let me just finish it. Let me set it up. Let me set it up, and then I'll give it to you. Okay, so the statute says you can't. So it's got two parts. One of which we both agree is it's not going to be upheld as constitutional. You cannot tell somebody they can't protest outside of a court. They can, but the second piece of this statute says whoever with the intent of interfering with obstructing or impeding the administration of justice or with the intent of influencing any judge, etc., in the discharge of his duty, pickets near a residence occupied or used by such judge or resorts to any other demonstration, etc., shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. So that's the federal. The Virginia Title 18.2, Crimes and Offenses Generally, picketing or disrupting tranquility of homes, says any person who shall engage in picketing before or about the residence or dwelling place of any individual in a manner which disrupts or threatens to disrupt any individual's right to tranquility in his home shall be guilty of a Class 3 misdemeanor. That's a misdemeanor. Boom. They've violated Justice Alito's right to tranquility in his home. Okay, go ahead.
They're probably both unconstitutional. They're probably void for vagueness. The government has to give the benefit of the doubt to the exercise of the First Amendment. However, there is a right to tranquility in the home. That's why I say time, place, and manner. Or, hey, you guys, you want to scream your hearts out? You want to scream 24/7? Go over to 2nd Street. Go over to where the Supreme Court is. You can yell all you want. It's not a residential neighborhood. Yeah. That's where they work, but they're not working there because you made it impossible for them to get there. The government has to bend over backwards to protect the peace and security of its employees, in this case, its highest level employees, and it has to bend over backwards to protect the First Amendment. That's not a balance. That's a bias in favor of free speech. Why? Because that's how the First Amendment has been interpreted. Those two statutes are probably void for vagueness. I don't know how you can prove what the intent of the demonstrators is.
Well, you can.
If they really think they're going to change Sam Alito's mind by screaming outside his house, they're idiots and they're crazy.
Well, yes, but that doesn't change their intent. I think the piece of it that says you're not allowed to protest outside of a court if your intention is to mess with the judgment, that's not going to be upheld by any court. We see that every day at the Supreme Court.
Right.
Even when there's not an abortion ruling coming down, you always have the pro-Roe and the anti-Roe protesters out there. Every day of my Supreme Court reporter term, they'd be out there. So that's, I don't know. But I do think saying you can't go before a justice's home to try to influence him, and the Virginia statute saying you can't disrupt tranquility in the home, those are time, place, and manner restrictions that will be upheld. These are crimes they're committing, the protesters. They are. This isn't a normal protest. There's so many places you can protest. You don't have to be in front of his home. How about the Washington Post giving the velvet glove treatment to that one lunatic down the street from Alito who won't stop going to his house every day, who's got her blood red hangers hanging out of her home. She's not breaking the law and doing it at her home, but you go to his home and there ought to be consequences because they are trying to influence the decision of these justices because it hasn't yet come down. That's exactly what they hope to do.
There's a bias in favor of free speech. Look, I've been through this myself. I invalidated thousands of drunk driving convictions because the roadblocks were illegal in New Jersey. They picketed my home and they picketed the courthouse and I had to be escorted in and out. And as I went by them, I waved. They roared because I was smiling at them. I was killing them with kindness. Didn't change my mind. I wouldn't allow anybody to be arrested. And eventually it went away. The published opinion was published and it was upheld by the appellate court. Part of this is just the occupational hazard that comes with the job. You are one of the 9 human beings on the planet who decides what the Constitution means and what federal law means and what the government can do. There's some hazard that comes with that. And that is that you're going to antagonize half the country and they have the right to express that antagonism, not to prevent you from sleeping, not to terrify your children, not to prevent you from going to the store, not to prevent you from going to work, but they can make all the noise they want during the daylight hours.
Black Rifle Coffee Company is a veteran-founded company serving premium coffee to people who love America. They develop their explosive roast profiles with the same mission focus learned as military members serving this great country of ours. In 2021, Black Rifle donated over 100,000 bags of coffee, which adds up to over 2.1 million cups of coffee, to first responders, law enforcement, and active duty military members. So you know that with every purchase you make, Black Rifle gives back. Black Rifle Coffee imports high-quality coffee beans from Colombia and Brazil, and they roast them 5 days a week at their facilities domestically in Manchester, Tennessee, and Salt Lake City, Utah. And that means you get the freshest coffee possible, no matter where you live. The best way to enjoy Black Rifle's freedom-filled coffee is with the Black Rifle Coffee Club. When you join the club, your brew of choice is roasted, packaged, and shipped free to your door on your schedule. You can buy it at blackriflecoffee.com and use the code MK at checkout for 20% off your purchase and your first coffee club order. That's blackriflecoffee.com/MK and use the code MK at checkout. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.